Ambassador McFaul, I think there's a whole lot that people need to understand between what Donald Trump does and punching them in the face. Donald Trump is a sycophant. Donald Trump has made America subservient to Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump doesn't even let a note taker come in to hear what is said. There's a whole lot that walks right up to the line of punching Russia in the face that would achieve the goal of just firming up our posture, restoring our dignity in the relationship. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely, Nicole. It'll be night and day with respect to how President Biden will deal with President Putin compared to President Trump. I was actually at the last meeting that Vice President Biden had with Prime Minister Putin back in March of 2011. There was no happy talk. There was no let's be friends. None of that. And right after the meeting, the meeting was pretty tense, by the way, because we're dealing with some difficult issues, particularly with respect to Georgia. And then right after that meeting, the vice president went and met with civil society leaders and opposition figures to demonstrate that we weren't going to check our values at the door when dealing with the Russian government. And I suspect that will be the basic strategy moving forward for the Biden administration. It's tough, like Michael said. It's not black and white. These are not easy issues. By the way, they never were. Even during the Cold War, we confronted and contained the Soviet Union and also engaged in arms control. But there'll be none of this sycophantic, I want to be your friends, and I will do whatever it takes to try to be your friend that we've seen during the Trump era.
You left out some of the great details from that meeting, so I'm going to read it. This is, I think you were there. So this is then Vice President Biden. He said, quote, to Vladimir Putin, Mr. Prime Minister, I'm looking into your eyes. Mr. Biden remembers telling him with a smile, a nod to former President George W. Bush's infamous claim to have done the same and seen his soul. Quote, I don't think you have a soul, Mr. Biden says he told Mr. Putin. The Russian leader sounded something less than offended, replying also with a smile, we understand each other. Ambassador McFaul, can you just sort of, I think, flesh out the history of the U.S.-Russian relationship? It was never about what Donald Trump seemed to think it was about. I mean, they do not respect lapdogs, and that's how Donald Trump has acted, not just the 4 years of his presidency, but the years leading up to it.
Well, I'd love to summarize all of U.S.-Russian relations in 30 seconds, but I'll bet you're not going to let
We will do that someday.
Let me summarize the last 10 years, right? When the Obama administration came in, I was part of that administration. We engaged with President Medvedev on what we called win-win outcomes, things that we thought were good for the American people. And we got a bunch of things done. We signed the New START Treaty. We got new sanctions on Iran. We got a new supply route to our troops in Afghanistan through Russia that decreased our dependence on Pakistan. But then when Putin came in, he didn't see the world in terms of win-win outcomes. He thinks of the United States in zero-sum terms, and cooperation ended. When Trump came in, he made good relations with Putin the objective of his foreign policy towards Russia, irrespective of what they got done. And frankly, I can't think of a single major objective, what we called them deliverables in the State Department, that got done because of his personal engagement with Putin. And so what I hope in the Biden era is that you won't have the happy talk and the pretend friendship. We don't need that. There are no friends in diplomacy. There's just interests. But he should engage with President Putin when it's in our interest to do so. So, for instance, the New START Treaty, that should be extended. That's good for American national security interests. I hope that Biden and Putin will do that. But we don't have to check our values at the same time. We also need to push back on what Russia is doing against us, our allies in the world, including the cyber attack that you started this conversation about.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.